everyone, and welcome back to the Breakdown Tech. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to build a gaming PC for just $450. It's going to have an Intel processor in it and an Nvidia graphics card, so that is freaking awesome. But before we get into the video, be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content exactly like this every single day of the week. We do tons of awesome build guides. We talk about what different parts in the PC do, how they work, and if you need them. Tons of awesome stuff, so be sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you want to buy any of the parts that I mentioned in this video, please do so through the links down below on Amazon. It really does help us out as we get a little bit of money back when you do that at no additional cost to you. Thank you very much for doing that in advance. Now, before I get onto this build, I want to say this. You can do this build cheaper and better with AMD as far as price per performance goes. But a lot of people don't care about that. They want an Intel CPU and they want an Nvidia GPU. I understand that. I was like that for a very, very long time. Recently, I've been opened up to the world of AMD, and I do have an AMD alternative to this build, which you can check out at the eye up there. However, if you're okay with Intel and Nvidia, and that's what you want, this build is going to be great for you at just a 2% bottleneck, meaning it's going to run perfectly fine and perfectly good. So without any further ado, let's get on into the build. And for our processor, we're going with an Intel Pentium G4600. This is a 3.6 gigahertz dual-core processor. That'll be competent. You're not going to be maxing games with this, by the way, but you should be able to play any and all games out there right now on low settings at 1080p. You're not going to be running multiple monitors, but it's bare bones PC gaming, and it's a great intro build. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. Now, we're going to need a motherboard to put this in, and for that, we're going with an MSI B250M Pro VD Micro ATX motherboard. By going with a Micro ATX form factor, it allows us to save a lot of money, really. I mean, really and truly, if we were to go with a full ATX board, it'd probably cost double what this board is going to cost us, and this board's going to do any and everything we need to do with some PCI expansion options and support up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, which if you put that much RAM in this system, it would definitely be overkill. Speaking of RAM though, we're going with two 4 gigabyte sticks for a total of 8 gigabytes of Patriot signature line RAM. This is going to be great DDR4 RAM for this system. Competent speeds on it, all of this stuff like that. You don't really need more than 8 gigabytes with this system, and I actually wouldn't recommend upgrading it in the future. If you plan on upgrading your RAM, just upgrade the rest of the system with it. You could keep your case and your power supply maybe, your hard drive as well, but upgrade the processor, graphics card, and motherboard. If you're going to upgrade your RAM, there's no reason to really put 16 or 32 gigabytes in this system. It's just overkill. Now for our hard drive, we're obviously going with a favorite of mine, the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1 terabyte HDD. Knock on wood, I've never had any issues with Western Digital drives, and this will give you plenty of speed and plenty of space for any and all games you want to play and any and all of the other programs you want to use. Whether it be your operating system, Adobe Premiere, all that stuff, you're going to be able to store it here without any issues. And you'll even have some storage left over for some media files, most likely. 1 terabyte is plenty of space, I think, for most people, unless you're me. I use a lot more than 1 terabyte of data. I use about 1 terabyte of data every 3 months. So anyway, that's that. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and move on to our graphics card. And I wanted to go with a better graphics card than this, but when I'm running the bottlenecks and I'm looking at everything, I just decided, you know what? This is going to be the best budget option for an Intel Nvidia combo build, and that's going to be the GTX 1050 2 gigabyte card. Not a 1050 Ti. I think everybody was expecting a 1050 Ti there. No, it's a 1050 base 2 gigabyte card. It's not going to give you max performance on any games. This is going to be competent at low settings on 1080p gaming, and that's what this setup is meant to do. Entry level PC gaming at its most basic form for Intel and Nvidia. So there you go. You're going to have an Nvidia GTX 1050 that's going to serve you pretty well for gaming at 1080p. Now we need a case to put this whole thing in, and for that we're going with a Roswell SRM-01. This is a micro ATX case. It's pretty bare bones, it's a small form factor, and it's going to be great for this build. No real reason to overhype it. I mean, it's just a basic case for a basic build, and you're only paying $20 for it, so it's a pretty good deal as well. Now last but not least, we need a power supply, and one thing I won't skip on is a power supply. And for that, we're going with the EVGA 400 watt ATX power supply. It's going to be a basic power supply. It's not modular. It's going to have a bunch of cables sticking out of it that you're going to have to tuck away in the case, but this case should have just enough room to do that and still keep things cool. So yeah, there you go. There is a $450 build. I recently did a $450 build in the past, but in that I actually recommended a used graphics card. If you're okay with buying a used graphics card, you could squeeze a little bit more performance out of this PC, so be sure to check that out at the eye up there. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And for all of you out there saying you should build AMD, I agree with you 100%, and that's why at the beginning of the video I mentioned that and recommended some other build guides I've done that are AMD and going to serve you much better for gaming at such a low price. Nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Nick. This has been The Breakdown Tech, and I am out, guys. Peace.